fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and FFD tuned in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Fish Report Live. I'm Craig Fissinger. That's Ken Francis. We're your host. Thanks for waking up with us. Ken, we start FRL season number 8. We're back at it again, bud.
Hard to believe, Craig. It's great to be back. It's been a fun summer, but a lot of action to talk about tonight. There's just it's hard to believe the Rushi picnic is over with. That means summer's technically about over with, Craig. And it's great being here in the morning. Something different this year. Gives all of our viewers a chance to wake up and drink their coffee like we are here. And it's great. We got TK Heavy D again with us this year. We got Kearns and Kobe back with us this year. So really looking for another fun and exciting season.
Yeah, for those of us that haven't seen the show before, what we do is we talk high school sports on this show, interview athletes, interview coaches, particularly those that are doing well right now. And our interview tonight is coaching for a team that's doing pretty well right now.
Yes, it is, Craig. And we're going to talk to Rushi head volleyball coach, and that's Coach Aaron Watkins. He's got his Lady Raiders playing exciting volleyball. Craig, I've been to a couple games myself this year already. I don't typically go to a lot of volleyball games other than the big ones, and been to a couple already, and they're a lot of fun to watch. They're exciting. Very athletic team he's got, and really looking forward to talking to him tonight about his special group of seniors and including some underclassmen, Craig, that are paying off big dividends for Coach Watkins and his Raiders this season.
Okay, well, you mentioned the rest of the crew here a little earlier. Kearns and Covey out there in Studio R. Got TK and Heavy D back in the sound room. Although TK's taking this first week off, Ross is filling in for him. And got a couple new features this year that we've added. One of those I know our viewers in the past are probably used to us doing I think at one time we did a trivia question. Then we went to a poll question the last several years. This year a little bit different. We're going to go with TK's Star of the Week, maybe an SCAL athlete. We cover the Shelby County Athletic League very closely, along with other leagues. But TK is going to give us his SCAL Star of the Week. Although with Ross sitting in for him tonight, he's going to have to call that. And then the other new feature we got this year, Heavy D, he's kind of a font of knowledge, isn't he, back there? He is.
Really looking forward to talking to Heavy D, getting him a little more involved in the show this year. And we're going to have a special topic for all of our listeners out there, Craig, and that's going to be called Ask Heavy D. So towards the end of the show, our listeners, our viewers out there have an opportunity to ask Heavy D any question they want. It can be about sports. It can be about hunting. It can be about whatever. So, really looking forward to that segment of our show as well, Craig. So two new little twists in our show this year, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, on Wednesday on the Fish Report web page, we put a little bit of information about asking Heavy D a question on the show. His mailbag filled up, so we're going to find out what question he picks tonight to answer. Can't wait for that at the end of the show. But let's get things started. Let's go on out to Studio R, checking in with Covey and Kearns. And guys, welcome back for season number 8.
It's a fun summer, but I'm glad to be talking high school sports again, not really being in the high school scene anymore, but I'm glad to be talking more high school sports.
We want to talk some football tonight. We're actually in week 3 of the high school football season. Got to learn a little bit these first couple weeks. Give us a report here. What do you want to talk about here heading into week 3?
There's a lot of interesting football action been going on this first couple weeks. But we talk a lot about the MAC, the CCC, and stuff. We're gonna start off with the MAC. I'm gonna highlight the Minster Wildcats. They've had 2 good wins over 2 quality CCC opponents in Fort Laramie and Covington. They won 39-26 last week. Got junior quarterback Jacob Niemeyer, brother of Adam Niemeyer. He was a quarterback back in high school, ultimately pitched for Ohio State Buckeyes. They've been doing really good. They usually like to do kind of 3 yards in a cloud of dust. They really use their offensive line to their advantage this year, and it's looking no different. Minster's looking really solid and looking for another deep postseason run.
Yeah, I'd absolutely agree on that. They lost a good quality senior class last year, and they so far they've been filling in and haven't had any hiccups so far with the new guys pulling up, and they're definitely making another deep run. But another MAC team that I like to highlight would be the Marion Local Flyers. They lost obviously their big man on the line, John Dirksen, but other than him, they pretty much got everyone back, especially their senior quarterback Nate Bruns, who will definitely lead them hopefully to another D6 state title, as well as I'd say potentially they'll be the MAC champs.
Yeah, Nate coming in at 6'6", you know, he was getting some college looks for football. He ultimately committed to the Findlay Oilers for basketball, which is a great fit, a great Division II fit. You know, he got offered by Toledo, but, you know, we'll talk more about that when basketball season comes, but he's really anchoring that quarterback spot. I think you should expect nothing less but a state title from Marion this year. I think anything at this point less than that's about a disappointment there in Flyer country, and I expect them to probably be the favorite around the state to come home with a gold there in D6. And they play Parkway this week, and I expect them to they should win. Parkway is a rebuilding program, but under their new head coach who's ultimately coached some in college and the NFL level.
I'd agree with that, but also maybe a bigger game in the MAC is Fort Recovery and Minster. I know it was a close one. I believe Minster won it last year, but both of them lost a good senior class. So coming back this year, they'll have two new groups of young guys, of juniors and seniors coming up, hopefully to pull a win out. And I believe Minster will run away with it 28-21.
Yeah, I'm going to go by a little bigger march. I'm going to go about 35-7. I think Fort Recovery's going to have a harder time making playoffs. They're going to have to find a new identity this year. I think it's a new generation of Indians coming in. Also, one other game pick I want to make before we go is New Bremen and Anna. New Bremen's 2-0 with wins over Ben Logan and Mississinawa. Anna defeated Brookville last Friday. I think Coach Schmidt over there at New Bremen's doing a fantastic job at rebuilding this program. Won their first MAC game for the first time in 4 years last year. I'm going to go with the Cardinals in an upset here of 21-14. I don't think Anna has that offensive firepower that they did last year at the skill positions. So that's why I'm ultimately going to take New Bremen. I like their quarterback, Nolan Barhorse. Been doing a real good job. Started for them last year. I'm going to take the Cardinals in this one.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The Cardinals have been rebuilding for a lot, many years through the past, and finally I think they're getting around on their turn to become maybe another MAC powerhouse. And Anna lost, like you said, a lot of skilled players last year, so they're not necessarily rebuilding, but definitely not the team that they were last year. So I'll go with the Cardinals as well.
That's all we have from Studio R. Back to you guys.
Couple big calls over there by Covey and Kearns, especially that New Bremen over Anna. That'll turn some heads right there if that happens. You got Anna, a traditional, somewhat not a big powerhouse, but middle of the pack team in the MAC there versus a New Bremen squad that has struggled for many years. But I agree with those guys. Bremen's got a lot of good athletes this year, and they're playing much better. They played better last year, and it wouldn't surprise me a whole lot to see them knock off the Anna Rockets.
Yeah, MAC's awful fun this year, awful good, and it's going to be interesting going into week 3. They start playing each other to see exactly what happens. And listen, we're going to talk a lot of fall sports here in the weeks to come. We'll get to some other ones. Not going to get to all of them tonight, but one sport I do want to touch on really quick, Ken, is one of my favorite sports, of course, and we say this year in, year out, and that's cross country. And don't have a lot of time to talk about that tonight, but just real quickly, I know, again, we follow the SCAL very closely, and, I want to ask you maybe a couple your top teams in the SCAL boys and girls, who you looking at this year, just quickly.
Well, Craig, in the Shelby County League with boys and girls, you got to start with the Fort Loramie Redskins. They've had a great program here the last couple years. Jake Reithman, Joe Ballas leading the Redskins, and on the boys' side. And, on the girls' side, Craig, I watched them at the Shelby County preview, and they're just loaded. They're absolutely loaded with talent over there. I don't think they know who's going to be their number one runner yet. When they ran over at Russia in the preview, I know 2 of their top runners didn't even run. So the Redskins are very good. On the other teams in the Shelby County League, Houston boys are very good, and the Russia Raiders girls team very strong again this year. So look for some challenges from them. In the MAC, Craig, it's Minster boys and Minster girls, both looking really strong early in the season. And, I probably will be the teams to beat again. Minster girls, obviously, nothing new there. They just have a traditional powerhouse. So we'll see if their boys can follow suit this year.
Yeah, good call on that. We'll talk about those teams in the weeks to come. And I do want to mention a couple individuals just outside of the SCAL and MAC. I know we follow those conferences very closely, but got a chance to see 3 meets so far this year. And over on the boys' side, want to take a look at our Canham senior Tanner Delk over there. Got a chance to watch him a couple weeks ago at the Bob Scholl Invitational. Actually finished first over there in the small school division, but a very big meet over there. Good win for him. And then got a chance to see him last Saturday over at Covington, a smaller meet over there, but he led the field there as well in a kind of a wet and soggy race over there. So Tanner Delk, one to watch on the boys' side. And then on the girls' side, got a chance to watch a young lady from West Liberty, Salem, at the Bob Scholl Invitational by the name of Megan Adams. Megan Adams did very well there. Finished second to a real star from Catholic Central there out of Springfield, but actually beat the defending state champion Emma Watke over from Minster. I expect to see Emma getting better as the weeks go on, but a nice debut for Megan Adams. Her first varsity race ever, coming out of junior high, and as a freshman finished second at that big meet. So 2 people to watch there, Megan Adams on the girls' side and Tanner Delk on the boys' side. Two stars right there that they're going to be fun to see as the season goes on.
Absolutely.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for the first half here. We're going to take a short commercial break, but stay right there. When we come back, we're going to talk some volleyball, including that big interview with Russia coach Aaron Watkins.
My father said it's time to be home man, but don't go and town in the motherland. You were born with heart, raised on pride. This vinegar runs through your bloodline. Oh, loaded, bruised, and slain. Oh, pride in this name. When the skies run deep within this blue, false used to rise by foolish views. Religious divide among the may create civil war on my friendly land. Oh, hurt and bruised and slain. Oh, pride in this name.
And welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live. Before the break, we were talking a little football and some cross country. Now we're going to change gears, Ken, and talk a little volleyball. And our next guest is in his 3rd season as the head coach of the Russia Raiders volleyball program. He led the team into the regional tournament last year, and this year he's got them playing very well. They're 6-4 overall, 3-1 in the Shelby County Athletic League, including a win Tuesday night over Watkins. We welcome to the program now Aaron Watkins. Coach, thanks for joining us, and welcome to Fish Report Live.
Yeah, thanks for having me back on again this season, guys.
Well, listen, congrats on the great start. You kind of been our traditional first guest of the season, so we really like that. I just mentioned you had a win Tuesday night over Watkins, and I kind of want to recap, Coach, the beginning of the season. You started out with a road win over Covington, and then you had back-to-back games that you dropped 5-set matches there at Russia, and you're against very good teams in New Bremen and Jackson Center, so you're sitting there at 1-2 at the time. What were your thoughts there? Did you have any concerns with your program at that point?
Yeah, it's always nice to have that game at Covington. Kind of gets those nerves out, and you can work out the little things. Going into that week, we knew that it was going to be a challenge, but I was pretty happy with the week. Bremen has everyone but 2 girls back, so they're a strong team, tall, athletic. To be able to go 5 games with them, second game of the year, I was pretty pleased with that, and I thought that came down to a couple little things. So that's one of those that you're pretty happy with. And the Jackson Center game, we came out flat. So that was something we were a little worried about. We just didn't have the energy. We were playing at home, so that was a little worrisome to us. But I think we've righted that ship these last couple weeks, and we've really been working on coming out strong and not wait until the second or third game to get things going.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that. You mentioned riding the ship. You came out and you had it didn't look like it was going to get any easier for you. In the next 6 days after those 2 losses, you had games against Versailles, Fort Laramie, and Anna, and yet you won all 3. So what changed from those back-to-back losses to those 3 wins you rattled off against very good teams?
Starting with the Versailles game, I thought our blocking and our defense was phenomenal. We came out. I believe the Versailles coach said, we were talking at every point, we were aggressive, and we really, we kept Versailles on their heels, and that wasn't something that we necessarily done from the start against Bremen and Jackson, and I think doing that from the first set against Versailles really set the tone for the day, and that wasn't something that we'd done to that point. Against Laramie, we had that slow start again, but a couple plays there in the third set really got us going, and we rode that momentum, so we were happy to win that way. Something a little different. And then Anna was just a grind-out match. They are a heck of a team. Kelly's got a really talented group. They run a really quick offense, and I was pleased with how we played with them. They're definitely a regional, if not a state team this year.
Coach, hi, this is Ken. Craig mentioned a little bit about that 5-game stretch there, but not only that, then you had to follow it up by going to the St. Henry Invitational and taking on St. Henry, Fort Recovery, who's ranked number 1 in Ohio right now, and then I think it was Buckeye Central or somebody who was a state runner-up last year. So you really had a stretch of 8 straight games against state-level competition.
Yeah, I know when I was looking at our schedule after last year, we talked about, maybe trying to get a couple tougher opponents on there. And when we picked up the St. Henry invite, it just happened that our county schedule reshuffled, and we got Jackson, Laramie, and Anna all first 3 games, and we put Versailles, Bremen, and the St. Henry invite right in the middle of all those. So to come out of that 5-4, we were really pleased. I mean, we could have come out of that 1-8 and still been a heck of a team, but 5-4, above 500, and 2 5-set losses. I mean, I think any coach in our area would take that.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about your team, Coach. And we're going to start with your 4 seniors, the leaders of the team, 4 great seniors that bring something different each individually to your team. A lot of talent there. Can you tell us a little bit about your seniors?
Yeah. This group of 4 is different than the last 2 groups of seniors I've had. These girls are just a quieter, more laid-back group. The last 2 years I've had some more outgoing and just more go-get-it kind of seniors. But these girls have found a way to lead in their own way, and it's really working with this group for whatever reason it is. But Larissa, I think Larissa gets a lot of the attention just, being our big hitter, tall, draws a lot of attention. But she's done a nice job encouraging the other girls, especially Ava, Kendall, and Ashley. She's really done a nice job picking them up. Jenna, I was telling the Sydney Daily News sports editor, Bryant Billing, that honestly, as a coaching staff and from me personally, we overlook Jenna. She is consistently giving us 25 or 30 assists a night, 15 digs. She's always a good leader on the floor. She's a 3-year starter. So I hate to say it, but I mean, she just gets taken for granted. And so she's another one just, it's going to be hard to replace her next year. Morgan, 3-year starter. She's been one who's really stepped up vocally from the start of the summer. She really was a good leader at open gyms and summer league and different summer things. And I think she's really become more consistent and someone we can go to a lot more this year. And then finally would be Sam Garkey. And she's always positive. She's picking up her teammates, and she's contributing the way we need her to. We told her if she can give us a couple blocks, 5-6 kills a night, she was really going to add to our team what we needed, and I think she's done exactly what we needed her to. So I've been happy with all 4 of them.
Coach, your team, you mentioned your underclassmen. You've got a lot of underclassmen that play. You've got a couple freshmen, a couple sophomores, but let's particularly talk about a sophomore, and that's Ashley Scott. Ashley played a lot last year as a freshman. She's an integral part of your team now because she gives you another hitter up in the front row. Tell us how Ashley's game has developed over the summer and why she is so vital to your success.
Yeah. Last year, Ashley got a really big opportunity with Cameo having her shoulder injury over the summer, and we threw her in there, and she did well. And I think we might have overplayed her a little bit too much last year. We should have let her just focus on the front row, and I think, her defense and her passing ended up affecting her front row more than it should have. And this year, she's just become a really great all-around player. She's serving aggressive, getting us aces, blocks. She's, hitting the ball really well. She's stepped up leading the team. So I think she's had a year to settle in and understand what she needs to do, and she just matured a lot.
Coach, tonight you've got the Fairlawn Jets, another Shelby County League game. A very big game because they're all big, but for you in particular, being a Fairlawn graduate, some of your coaching staff is from the Fairlawn area. You know a lot of the things that Fairlawn's going to bring to the gym, but what's it going to take for the Raiders to be ready and to take care of the Jets tonight?
Yeah, it's a little weird. I started my coaching career as a middle school coach out there, so I've coached I believe it's the juniors and seniors this year. I coached in middle school, so that's a little weird. And then my aunt is actually the head coach now, Jody Hickman. So full extra special this year. But she's really done well with the program. They're sitting at 4-2, and they have a lot of underclassmen that are pretty strong. So I think they're going to be heading in an upwards direction the next couple of years. They have a really good senior middle right now, Lauren Dungeon. She's really come along. And then they have a couple good freshmen up on varsity, but Jesse Abke's gotten a lot of attention from some people. So we're going to really be paying attention to those two girls and try to eliminate them as much as possible.
All right, Coach, and one more question before we let you go. And I know you're very active on social media, in particular Twitter, which we as media guys and fans really love that. But I noticed this year you've got every tweet you send seems to end with the hashtag Start a Tradition, which I think is kind of neat, but I just wanted you to kind of explain that. What's that all about?
Last year we talked about setting a standard, and what the girls wanted to do was they wanted to reach the regional tournament, make it out to regional tournament. And we did that, and we set a standard that we want to, live up to every year. And I think this year our goal needs to be to make it to regionals, win county, and make doing stuff like that a tradition. Always being competitive, if that's 7th grade, 8th grade, JV. But I want our program to be competitive and, doing these things year in and year out and making these expectations that we have a tradition and just something that is expected, like you would think of Jackson Center volleyball or, Anna, Fort Laramie, Versailles. They all have that tradition that you think of. I want people to think of Rushi volleyball as having a tradition where that stuff is just expected. So that's kind of where that comes from.
Well, Coach,
that's my thoughts on it.
Coach, listen, that's great stuff. You're doing a great job over there with the Rushi volleyball program. I got to admit, for myself, typically I'm not a guy that goes to a lot of volleyball games, but I've been to a couple already this year. I really enjoy going. The girls are super athletic, and, you are starting a tradition here at Rushi, and best of luck to keep it going, and we wish you the best of luck tonight when you take on the Fairlawn Jets and bring home another Shelby County League win. So from Fish Report, Craig and I, TK, Heavy D, and the rest of the crew, we wish you good luck, and thanks for being on our show.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. Glad that you guys are enjoying the games, and hopefully we keep this up on an annual basis.
All right, Coach. Thanks a lot.
Yep, thank you.
All right, and that was the head coach of the Rushi volleyball program, Aaron Watkins. And, yeah, you can listen to him or watch him tonight if you're going to the Claire Nouveau Gymnasium as they take on the Fairlawn Jets, you can listen to them if you're not going to go to the gym, because TK and Covey are going to be calling action on that one. You can just get on the Fish Report live page, Fish Report page, check or click the audio link, and you can listen to that one. Game time, air time, around 6:30, we're going to guess. All right, about going to wrap things up. Do want to go back to the sound room and check in with those guys. Like we said at the top of the show, got a couple a little more segments that we want to get through this season, and one of those is TK's Star of the Week, SCAL Star of the Week. As we said, TK not here this week, so we're going to go back there and check in with Ross, and Heavy D's back there as well. And guys, welcome back for season number 8.
Hey,
listen now, Ross, you're sitting in TK's spot here, and you got some big shoes to fill. We got a new segment this year. You think you can handle this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, listen, we want to know a SCAL Star of the Week. We kind of warned you about this in advance, gave you some time to look at some things. You think you can give us your top star in the league this week?
Sure, I can, but I just have a question. Can I have 2 of them?
Sure, yeah, you can have 2 of them if you want.
no pushy.
You must have a couple of them in mind then.
All right, we all know it's hard to kick a field goal, so I'm going to have to go with a guy from Fort Laramie named Beltran Lafarga. And he's an exchange student from Spain, and he played soccer in Spain, and he decided he wanted to play football, and he's a kicker. And he had a game against Madrid and Cincinnati that he had 4 extra points and 35-yard field goal.
Wow. 35, yeah. You don't see that too often in high school, at least not around this area.
That's good kicking right there.
Yeah.
Does he kick soccer style, or is he straight on, Ross?
I think he just kicks it right away. I don't think he has any wind-up or anything. I just think he just kicks it.
We'll have to. I want to see if we can get an answer on that. I'd like to see if he comes in soccer style on a big hoop, or
maybe some video. Maybe
a little video. That's what. Maybe one of our Fort Laramie listeners out there will send us a little video of one of his kicks. I'd like to see that.
Yep. But my player of the week is Jenna Credonier. She's Rushi volleyball, and she set 2 school records last week: an assist in a match and career assist. She broke Kristen Dries records in both of those, and that's why I think that she is the player of the week.
I think that's a good call on that one, yeah.
I think it's a great choice also. Like Coach Watkins said, she's a very valuable part of his success, the team's success, and gets taken for granted once in a while.
2 school records in 1 week, that's deserving of a player
good.
of the week. All right, Heavy D, well, listen, we got a new segment for you, and like we said again at the top of the show, got a lot of knowledge back there that we haven't tapped into. I know last season didn't tap into it a whole lot, and this season we want to find out what exactly you all know, and we put it on the Fish Report live page or the Fish Report website there on Wednesday about questions, and I know your mailbag filled up, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It was quite full, and any question is in play for me. If I don't know an answer, I'll just make something up.
So what do you got?
Well, we had a viewer, Nate Ruenkamp, sent in a question. He had 2 questions, actually, kind of like Ross, 2 things, a little pushy. But his first question had to do with concession stands in the basketball season. Did I have a favorite one, and tell me why? If you would have asked me a couple years ago, I'd have said Jackson Center, hands down. They had the big cat. It was working for them. But kind of got out of that mode, though, over there. So I'm switching gears now. I'm going to go with Fort Laramie concession stand, and they've got a soft pretzel. They've got it's got a cinnamon sugar coat. You can put cheese on it, or you can put frosting on it. I think the kids really like it. And I asked my dad about the popcorn at Laramie. He said it's pretty good. It's extra oily, not too salty, just right. So keep it up, Laramie, on that. And Nate's second question was: is there a good local bar or restaurant that I'd like to go to before a game, or have a recommendation? And I kind of thought about it. And from where I work at, if I go to Anna or Jackson or Botkins for a game, I like to go to the in-between, and I've ate there a couple times with TK. They've got a nice bar area. They've got a nice selection of adult beverages, and they've got a nice menu. And a couple interesting facts about the in-between that nobody really cares about. But number one, it used to be called Betty's Corner. And Craig, do you know why they call it the in-between?
Yeah, because it's in between Botkins and Anna.
Yeah,
that's what most people think. But when I asked some of the elders of the community, they said, no, that's wrong. The reason why they call it the in-between is because it's on Old 25A, County Road 25A, and it's actually halfway between Cincinnati and Toledo.
Well, that's real interesting there.
That's why they call it the in-between. So best concession stand, Fort Laramie, keep it up with the greasy corn, and in between, go there for supper before the game and have a few drinks.
Heavy D, you're making me awful hungry back here, and it's I just got up. I just had my big breakfast. I've had a couple cups of coffee here this morning already, and now I'm hungry again.
I tell you what, I really like that segment. That
was great.
Heavy D not only made us hungry, but I enjoyed listening to his.
Absolutely, and I like eating too. So
yeah.
Not only like eating, Craig, I'm a big fan of coffee. What do you think of our coffee mugs here?
Yeah, special thanks to Mark Travis.
Special thanks to Mark Travis here, Made for More logos. All four of us back here. You see all Heavy D back here sipping his coffee. Craig and I also during the show. So since we're going to do a morning broadcast every Thursday morning, we got to have our coffee cups. So thanks, Mark Travis, Made for More.
And if you want coffee cups like this, you can go to Mark's website at www.madeformoreapparel.com and get coffee mugs just like the Fish Report Live guys.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, listen, that's going to wrap it up for us this morning. We do want to say special thanks to our guest, Coach Watkins, for joining us on the show. Thanks to Mark Travis for providing us with our coffee cups. And thanks to the viewers out there for tuning in. So for Ken, TK, Heavy D, the whole crew here, Ross, Covey, and Kearns, we want to say have a great day, everyone.
Hanging at the Fish Report. 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 For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the Fish Report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the Fish Report. Hanging at the Fish Report.